In a significant diplomatic move, U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in St. Petersburg earlier today. The meeting, lasting over 4 hours, centered around finding a resolution to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. President Trump, speaking from the White House, expressed growing frustration with the lack of progress in ceasefire negotiations. He urged Russia to expedite the process, emphasizing the need for immediate action to end the violence. Witkoff's visit to Moscow comes at a pivotal moment, as tensions between the US and Russia remain high. The meeting's outcome could have significant implications for the future of Ukraine and the broader geopolitical landscape. The international community is closely watching for any signs of a breakthrough, hoping for a de-escalation of the conflict that has already claimed thousands of lives. The humanitarian crisis in Gaza has intensified, with the head of the International Committee of the Red Cross, Mirjana Spoljaric, describing the situation as hell on earth. Spoljaric's stark warning comes amidst continuing Israeli military actions in the Gaza Strip. The UN has issued a dire warning, stating that Israel's tactics threaten the basic viability of life in Gaza. The conflict has resulted in a heavy toll on civilians, with countless casualties and widespread displacement. Hospitals and essential infrastructure have been severely damaged, exacerbating the already dire humanitarian situation. International pressure is mounting on all parties to agree to an immediate ceasefire. The Red Cross and other aid organizations are struggling to provide essential aid and medical supplies to the besieged population. In a controversial ruling, a US judge has upheld the deportation order for Mahmoud Khalil, a graduate of Columbia University. Khalil, a permanent US resident, faces deportation for his involvement in pro-Palestinian protests. Despite not being charged with any crime, the judge deemed Khalil's activism as adverse to American foreign policy interests, paving the way for his deportation. The ruling has sparked outrage among civil rights groups and advocates for free speech, who argue that Khalil is being unjustly punished for exercising his First Amendment rights. This case raises crucial questions about the balance between national security concerns and the protection of civil liberties in the United States. Chapter 4. Graphic bodycam footage, depicting the fatal shooting of an Ontario provincial police officer, has taken center stage in the trial of Alain Belfoy. The footage, shown to the jury, captures the chaotic moments leading up to the officer's death, and raises critical questions about whether Belfoy was aware that he was firing at police officers. The prosecution argues that the footage clearly shows Belfoy aiming and firing his weapon at identifiable police officers. The defense, however, contends that the footage is ambiguous and that Belfoy may have mistaken the officers for someone else. This case highlights the increasing use of bodycam footage in criminal trials and its potential impact on jury deliberations. The outcome of the trial will likely hinge on how the jury interprets the crucial moments captured on the officer's bodycam. Chapter 5. New regulations are coming into effect that will impact Canadians traveling to the United States. Canadians planning to stay in the US for 30 days or more are now required to register with the US Citizenship and Immigration Services. This new enforcement measure stems from an executive order signed by President Trump, aimed at strengthening immigration controls and ensuring compliance with entry requirements. Failure to comply with the new registration requirement could result in Canadians facing hefty fines or even jail time. The Canadian government has issued travel advisories, urging its citizens to familiarize themselves with the updated regulations. This development underscores the evolving relationship between the US and Canada on immigration matters and the potential implications for Canadian travelers. Chapter 6. President Trump has announced agreements with 5 prominent law firms, securing $600 million in pro bono legal work for causes he supports. The announcement comes amidst a concerted pressure campaign by the White House, targeting law firms over their employment practices and the types of legal cases they undertake. Critics view these agreements as a way for law firms to appease the Trump administration and potentially avoid scrutiny or unfavorable policy decisions. This development sheds light on the complex intersection of law, politics, and corporate influence in the United States.